What's up, everybody? Arrg the Pirate here, and today we're gonna play a little solo lane Countess. Now, I know what you're thinking. What are you doing? But we're gonna try it out. First, let's go over the deck. Now, I have Healing Towers, Onslaught, Experienced, Mana Fountain, Spell Shield, and lastly, Overpowered spells for my gems. Now, for my cards, I have Advanced Evolution, Font of Experience, Invader Mage, Power Tap, Finder of Playthings, Atomic Soldier, Nameless Curse, Shadow Dancer, and Corrosive Walker. Lastly, Plague Lord. Now, Countess solo is definitely in a tougher spot than she used to be. You know, she could kind of handle herself when it was the 2v1 lane, but you really just let them take the tower early, and you know, you didn't really face off with them a whole lot until you got fed and you came online a little bit, and then boom, hey, you're starting to hit hard. And, you know, now Countess does not do near the job that she used to. You know, it's definitely much harder for her to actually get some of these things taken care of. You know, she needs to get fed. She's one of the weakest heroes. You know, she does have a decent sustain. And if you see here, I actually start off with Siphon because I'm not pushing this lane. I'm not going to shadow slip anything. I'm going to play safe, stay under tower, and hopefully, you know, get fed enough to where I can actually push back. Now, I am facing off against the Sevarog, guys, and Sevarog hurts. You know, Sevarog is definitely a tough hero to deal with. So, we want him to play hyper-aggressive, push this lane, and then we will eventually push back against him. But you can see here, we are slow farming, and this is key, guys. If you're playing one of these squishy type heroes, you really have to slow farm, and hopefully you can get your power tap or your power spike on before the enemy team does. That will really allow you to, you know, kind of take over this lane. Now, guys, I am real sorry about the background audio. It kind of has that underwater feeling to it. I switched to a new recording software, and I accidentally recorded Discord chat while this match was going on. So I had to take out the voices the best that I could, and it kind of gives it that little underwater feeling. You know, you have to like inverse the track, blah blah. It's kind of complicated, but kind of simple at the same time. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. You know, I didn't want to just have to talk over people or not have the sound in the background at all. You know, I used to do the music in videos, but people absolutely hated that. So, hopefully, this is, you know, I recorded 3 games today, and I was like, oh, perfect, I'll have a couple of videos, but I'm going to end up having to just re-record all of those, because I did the same thing for all of them. It feels bad, man, but what can you do? Now, we did manage to pick up Aqua Buff, you know, get a little health back, and we're kind of being a little sneaky there, shadow slipping, and, you know, really, guys, in the first few levels with Countess, that's really what you have to do. Now, my jungler did head over, and even though I am in comms with him, you know, he didn't quite tell me he was heading over, and, you know, I was not ready for that, but, hey, he's gonna have, that Sevarog's going to be pushed back a little bit, and this is actually going to give me quite a bit of farm, so I should be able to head back and put on Invader Mage. But I realize, hey, I need just one more point. You know, it might be okay to put in Mana Flow Acolyte. I personally am not a huge fan of the card. You know, because whenever I put it on and I take it off and I lose the stacks, I'm like, I want to keep it on longer. But, you know, there are much better options. That's why I haven't been playing with it that much lately. You know, Invader Mage is just an all-around better option, in my opinion. And you would have to get, you know, 10, 12 stacks on that Mana Flow Acolyte to be even close to as good as Invader Mage. So, I like that card better, and if you can stay in lane just a little bit longer like we did there and put on Invader Mage, you can actually come back and have a huge impact on this match. Now, I have picked up that big damage spike, and, you know, Sevarog is not going to expect this, and we're going to go ahead and, you know, bring the pain, guys. Countess, she's an absolute powerhouse. You know, she hits like a truck, and we're going to wait till he gets close, and boom, we hit him with that Dark Wake, and we actually hit all the minions. Now, this means I've got minion superiority. You know, I've got all these minions, and you can see they're able to do work on him. We actually end up, you know, hitting level 5, and we're able to take him out you know, easy peasy, guys. You know, that was a bad choice on him to engage on that, just since I was able to clear those minions out like that. You know, we flipped that fight to where I had my ranged assists and, you know, my melee assist. On top of that, you know, we hit like a truck, guys. So we did actually manage to force that wave into tower. You know, guys, Countess is a caster. Don't forget. So she can't really push towers. You have to just get your wave in there, and you'll get some assistance, hopefully, from your team. But you can see we've taken the tower down about a fifth of health or so, and that's just from shoving that lane in. We go ahead and back. We put on that advanced evolution. Now, I did not go with Font because as the off laner, or the solo laner, I should be getting levels pretty fast. I do end up picking Font up a little bit later, which, you know, I don't know. I don't play Countess solo, guys, so I don't know if that was worth it or not, but really, I think starting out with Advanced Evolution is a decent choice. You still definitely could pick up Font, but I think having that sustain, because I was definitely worried about the first few levels with Severog. But since he's pushing my lane, he's made my job very, very easy. Now again, guys, we're just gonna kind of farm this, get it pushing in the right direction. I have pushed it a little bit further than I would normally like, so I'm gonna push into the tower all the way. You know, just get it under tower and get this lane reset. With Severog showing up, he's actually going to do my job and get this lane reset. You see that siege minion is ahead of the, you know, actual spawned wave, and that's going to push back. Now, I should have pushed back a little bit further and avoided that, but Severog ends up engaging in on me, and guys, we hurt. I knew our Chimera was heading over here. Chimera's going to be able to finish him off, and hey, we get an assist on that, and you see, guys, we hit hard. And Severog, you know, Severog can't really handle that right now. And since we've done such a good job of farming, you know, we've been able to push our lane into this tower when we want. We've been able to freeze it when we need farm. You know, we've done a very good job of farming. We've got that Invader Mage. You can see the power of that card. And hey, we're gonna end up downing this T1 at just about 9 minutes, you know, with help from our jungler. And guys, that's what you have to do as the solo lane caster. You have to wait for assistance to down those objectives. From here, I'm going to back up, head back to base, and get ready for the counter push. Now, I go ahead and throw on Font and Atomic Soldier at this point, because, you know, hey, I'm still not crazy high level. I've still got a few levels that I can go up, and I was thinking, hey, this might be decent. You see, guys, look at the damage we did to that Severog. Oh, we're gonna go ahead and engage on him. We use that Shadow Slip, and oh, we hit the minion. I don't know how we got targeted onto the minion right there, guys. We should have definitely hit that Severog with that, but he manages to get away, which is a little unfortunate. But you see, we would have definitely deleted him. Now, the enemy Severog is building into damage. Like, he's a pure damage Severog. So, it would not be near as easy to handle a Severog as a Countess if he started building into damage, and if he was farming a little bit better. You know, if he would manage to freeze that lane, and I wasn't constantly back at my tower whenever I was farming, you know, that would be very unsafe for me. So, you know, he's not building tank, which is making it easier to kill him, and he's not, you know, he's not freezing that lane, so I'm able to stay safe, and I can just take 1 or 2 steps back whenever he's going to push, and, you know, that makes it easy. Now, my team goes ahead and rotates over for Fang, and we're going to pick up, you know, a pretty simple Fang. Now, we still have our T1s up in our duo lane, but since I've downed the T1 on my lane, you know, this is going to free me up to rotate. We are going to need to head back over there and actually deal with that, unless, you know, Severog's going to take that tower down. But we actually get into an engagement here, and, you know, hey, Revenant's here. He ends up ulting me, and guys, I'm too low. I don't really have the mana to deal with him, so I'm going to let him, you know, kind of just get away from me. And I'm going to head over back to the Raptor Pit, and I'm going to back. Now, I see Revenant heading back to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually hit him with that Dark Wake, and or Dark Tide, guys. I call it Dark Wake because it's a wake, and tides are very slow. I don't know who names these abilities. Really, like, yeah, a tide is a slow-moving thing. But anyways, we end up taking out that Rev, and I need to head over. I need to head back to my lane. Now that filled me up with health. That's why I decided not to back. And you can see with this huge minion wave, we're actually going to fill up pretty decently as well. Severog, you know, he did end up dipping out, which, you know, that's okay. That was a good play on his part. You know, if he would have stayed in, you saw Faye headed over, we would have actually been able to rotate on him and take him out. But this works out perfect. You know, we did lose our T1, but we lost that T1 for Fangtooth, and you know, so we are still at the advantage at this point. Now from here, I'm going to kind of look for, you know, look for a kill, look for any kind of potential thing that, you know, I can get my hands around. And sure enough, Revenant and that Zinx are pushed up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and just delete Revenant, guys. And then we end up taking out this Zinx as well. You know, we didn't need to hit her with everything since my team was here, but hey, that's quite alright. We end up wrapping up those couple of kills, and guys, that's awesome. And from here, let's go ahead and push into this T1 and actually take down this T1. You know, we're at almost 14 minutes in. We should definitely have this T1 down, and you know, of course, we're all gonna focus it and hopefully take it down pretty quick. Now, Severog is pushing, so I'm just gonna go ahead and back. And you see me, I'm backing under this tower. I'm not worried about it at all. We're gonna go ahead back. I put on Invader Mage and then head over to Severog to, you know, kind of stop that push. Because, you know, yeah, he would have definitely pushed into this inhib if I would have just stayed over in that, at that duo lane. So, need to head back to my lane and get it adjusted. Guys, I'm real sorry about the audio quality of this. We actually had someone jump into Discord, and that's why I paused right there. Jumped into Discord just with pure static, and no, it's been a bad recording experience, but we are able to head to this mid lane, take out Severog. Guys, we delete him. You know, Severog is a very tough hero to deal with, but again, guys, he wasn't farming the way he should. He was pushing that lane and allowing me to stay safe. You know, if I would have had to overextend to deal with him, you know, he would have been able to take me out. But you know, that's not what happened. And hey, it worked out great for me. Now we did get stunned by that Zinx, and you saw she was able to hit me a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and back up. We take out this orange buff, and then hey guys, it's time to go for Fang. Now, Countess has a great sustain mechanic. You know, if you kill something, you get your health back. And, you know, that sustain mechanic is absolutely awesome. So, she's able to stay in engagements at being, you know, fairly unhealthy. And you can see there, we killed Fang, and boom, we heal up a little bit. So, having that sustain is absolutely great. And from here, you know, I'm going to go ahead and head towards this mid. You know, I'm not worried about Zinx at all. And if we can actually head over to her, we were going to engage on that. But we decided to back off. I'm actually going to head over to my solo lane and get that adjusted. You know, Severog's done a pretty good job of constantly keeping up pressure. So I need to deal with that. And then hopefully, you know, maybe we can actually start making some plays happen. Now, we do get into an engagement, and like I said, guys, when I'm low on health, you know, if I can kill minions, if I can kill things, I can get my health back. And, you know, we need to use this to our advantage. You know, that's one key thing about Countess. And you can see here, this huge minion wave, this is just asking for me to get healthy. And you see, look at my health going up, guys. So, when Severog engaged on me, I was almost at full health. And, you know, hey, we're able to just withstand everything that he dishes out. And, you know, knowing this, knowing, hey, do you have enough mana to actually fill up with health, things like that, that's absolutely huge, guys. And you can see that's exactly what we did. We're going to now head back to base and switch out that Invader Mage for Shadow Dancer and really start ganking some people. Now, sure enough, we're going to go ahead, head down to mid lane. We've got, some big team presence, and since I'm invis, we should be able to make something happen. I'm going to go ahead and engage on Severog. We should be able to take out Severog, but we had a little bit of a miscommunication with my team. I thought they were going to stay in that with me being invis, but they ended up backing up, so we got quite a bit of damage on Severog. I want to keep him shut down. Because if he does start getting his souls up, if he does start putting on those tankier cards, he's going to absolutely destroy me. Zinx I'm not worried about. Since she's playing that support role, she's not going to get near as fed, and, she's either going to be very tanky or do a lot of damage, but it's going to take her a while to be able to do either. So, not too worried about her. We could have focused Chimera, but, hey, I've got a vendetta against Severog. He did Colossal Blow me a second ago, so... Now, we're going to go ahead and pick up Purple Buff, and from here, guys, it's time to kill somebody. And, Countess with Invis is absolutely scary, guys. And we're just kind of waiting for something to happen. If Zinx push-ups, we're going to deal with her, but... she ended up backing up, so I'm going to kind of rotate over, really see if anything's going on now. Chimera's kind of heading in to collapse on my team, and we're going to go ahead and just take him out. Now, I highly recommend starting out with Dark Tide, guys, and kind of starting out with your ultimate is that older way of playing Countess, but I highly recommend starting out with Dark Tide and then use your ultimate. Especially if you're invis, that's just a much better thing to do. We get a huge lag spike there, but we did end up taking out Gideon, and, there's another lag spike. Now from here, we're going to head over to our solo lane, and hopefully be able to punish this Severog. He did end up taking out Chimera, which is unfortunate, but hey guys, we're going to take him out. Now, if you see there, that was a much better rotation. Dark Tide, Siphon, and then ultimate. If we would have started with that ultimate, we would have most likely still got that kill, but we might have had to use Q to catch up to him, or, if he was able to get a root and use that Phantom Rush or whatever it's called, he could have actually got away. So it's better to use Dark Tide when they're not expecting it, and, it makes it much easier to get those kills. Now, I'm going to go ahead and back, and, top off with mana. We do have Mana Fountain, and guys, I highly recommend putting Mana Fountain on Countess. She uses quite a bit of mana, and Mana Fountain is just such an incredible gem. We go ahead, pick up that Invader Mage, and, we're really going to start hurting people now. Now is a great time for us to actually go in on Fang, so, we head over there, and then I see Gideon show up, and I'm worried about the Gideon ult, so I'm going to do everything I can to actually take him out. Now, I Shadow Slip to him, which, I've always said, try not to Shadow Slip to get that engagement. I just didn't get my ult off. I don't know why, but that's quite alright. Chimera shows up, and we delete Chimera, guys. And I'm going to go ahead and just shove this tower now. We did pick up Fang, so we've got our third Fang now. And then Gideon shows up, guys. Shadow Slip, Dark Tide, Dark Wake. But Dark Tide, and, hey, he's a goner. We're going to go ahead and shove this lane, and we should be able to take it out. Now, Zinx did head over, and like I said, guys, Zinx is a tough hero to deal with, but at this point, she's not quite tanky, and she's not quite a damage dealer because she is in that support position, so we should be able to withstand everything she dishes out, and sure enough, we take her out as well. And, that, guys, Countess hurts. I don't know why they keep buffing her. I think she's plenty strong, but... hey, it is what it is. Now, I was going to back up, but with my team all here, we might be able to push that a little bit, and I want to keep that pressure up, and sure enough, that's what we do. Now, again, we're going to go ahead and pick up Purple Buff, and, we have to go deal with our solo lane. That Severog has, again, he's managed to push that lane pretty well, and, we're going to have to get it set in the right direction. Now, I did not set that lane, I just kind of shoved it, which, hey, I probably should set them, but no problem. We head over to this Revenant, and guys, I didn't think he ulted. I guess he did. I mean, it didn't look like he went through the animation. I mean, that was quick. Now, there's no reason to continue to chase that, you know, that's getting pretty dangerous. Our Muriel, you know, she goes in a little bit too much, and I'm not going to deal with that. We need to get our lanes repositioned. I head over to Sparrow. You know, Sparrow's pretty low, and unlike me, you know, she doesn't have that just amazing sustain feature. So I'm going to go kind of just help her push that lane, and then I need to head back to my lane because Arrg is there, and he's building full damage, so, you know, he should be able to take down a tower pretty quick. Hopefully I can get over there and deal with him before that happens. Now, my team managed to stay in on that Zinx, but we're actually going to lose this T2 for that kill, which, you know, that is unfortunate, but hey, we're going to go ahead and punish this Arrg for it as well. We end up taking him out, and then we're going to continue to shove this lane. You know, with them having Zinx and Arrg down, we can really start making some strong plays. My team ends up picking up our 4th Fang, you know, so we've got 4 uncontested Fangs so far, and, you know, this is huge. We've got 2 of their tanks down. You know, Chimeras, although you can build him tanky, he's not near as tanky as some other heroes. And, you know, he's really not a strong front line. He's kind of one of those heroes that shows up and becomes a front line. Or, you know, a frontline tank anyways. But I'm going to go ahead and shove this lane, and then we should be able to maybe get some damage on this T2. But, you know, really, I'm doing this to make sure my team can head over to Prime and secure Prime. I want to keep this pressure up, and that way, you know, the enemy team doesn't know that I'm doing that. Sure enough, we're able to do that. I then head over to this Gideon. You know, we're going to kill this Gideon, guys, for sure. And I went ahead and used my ultimate right away because I wanted to get tons of damage on him. That way, you know, he didn't really have time to hit that ult. And sure enough, worked like a champ. Our ult with our Siphon was able to take him out. No problem at all. Muriel is here, so, you know, if she keeps these shields on me, you know, we should be able to withstand quite a bit. We were able to punish Arrg and Zinx there. But, hey, guys, we have Prime. We've got some great sustain mechanics. We should be able to take somebody out. Sure enough, there goes Arrg. And, you know, from here, we're going to shove this and take down this inhib. Now, we did have a very strong early game. You can see the power of slow farming, guys. If you want to play Countess in that solo lane, it can be done still. You know, you can still play her and find a lot of success. You can see I'm 15-0-2, guys. But the problem with it is, you know, you have to be prepared for, you know, dealing with a solo laner. And, you know, someone like Arrg, if they build some sustain on that, it would definitely be a lot harder to push into that. Someone like Quang that can root you and disrupt your abilities, or, you know, even Feng Mao that has that shield. There are a lot tougher heroes to deal with, and, you know, that can be a problem. I'm really sorry again about the audio. You know, I recorded this, and when I went to edit it, I just didn't have time to go play another match, guys. Really sorry again, but if you enjoyed, show me some love. Leave me a comment, think about subscribing, join our Discord, and as always, guys, I'll see y'all in the next video.